Okay, we're gonna start now. Hello, welcome. And if other people pop on, that's fine with me. So, there are some of you who I do not know. So, I'm just gonna go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Kelsey Easter, and I am a yoga teacher. And what that means to me is that I have spent about 10 years studying different traditions and lineages that call themselves yoga, but also are in different modalities, say like physical therapy or calisthenics or personal training, and also a different spectrum of mindfulness techniques and practices that feed into nervous system regulation, including working with a couple of therapists who do EMDR therapy, and like how can we utilize breath practices in particular in order to find some nervous system regulation. And I'm not going to go into too many details about like what we're doing and why we're doing it, because I wanted this class to be really accessible, in the sense that you didn't have to think too much about it. You didn't have to come in with any understanding, and also you didn't leave with any understanding that you didn't necessarily want, because I know sometimes I can get a little bit long-winded and people are like, oh, I didn't really need to know that. I was just coming to rest, and that's fair. I appreciate that. Cool. So that's what we'll be doing. We'll be doing some regulating of our nervous system. So, hypothetically, regardless of how you're feeling right now, we'll be doing some techniques in order to hopefully achieve a state of your well being that feels like a home center. So, not fight or flight or freeze or anything that's really activated, but hopefully something that feels soothing and comfortable. And because we've had long lives where we have had experiences, this feeling that I'm talking about might not be accessible to you, and that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with you. But what that means is that the techniques that we'll be doing, even though they're supposedly designed or utilize our biology in order for you to achieve this place that feels good, it might not work for you. And it actually might be really activating and uncomfortable. And if that's the case, I'm going to please ask you to use your personal autonomy to leave the room, to leave the class, or do something else. If you want to stay in this community environment and just kind of like wiggle yourself, that's cool. But so that's the understanding, is that like everyone's nervous systems are different, so they may respond to the same stimulus differently. So you have all of my permission to leave the Zoom if it feels uncomfortable, or for any reason for that matter. Some information about my environment is that I live on a pretty walkable street. So you might hear some street noise or some chit-chatting outside of my window. And I also have a kitty cat, and he's asleep right now, but we'll see if he stays that way. Okay, so that's the information about what we're going to be doing. Mostly, we're going to be breathing and guiding our attention into our breath. But I'm going to ask you to collect some tools. So, one of those tools being a blanket to cover yourself with. Even if you're not cold right now, you might get cold later as we begin to rest. Your body temperature will likely decrease. And then the second thing I'm going to ask you to collect is, oh, hi, Caitlin did pop on, is a support system for either underneath or both, either underneath your head or underneath your knees once we get to laying down. So if you were to grab something that would go under your head, I'm going to ask it to be pretty thin, so not like a big fluffy pillow, but like this is a really neatly folded blanket. And then the thing that would go underneath your legs is you could take another blanket and roll it up. You could take that big fluffy pillow, or anything that you feel like would give your knees the ability to bend and be supported in a bend. Okay, so you're gathering. Maybe you've already gathered. And you're going to place those things like just off to the side near your head, because we're going to move our legs a little bit and I don't want you getting them bumped. And I will be demonstrating some of the time with my own body, but mostly I'll be communicating with my words. If I see based off of your facial expression or like a head lift that you don't know what's going on, then I'll demonstrate for you, or you can send it in the chat that you don't know what's happening. Okay, next thing that we're going to do is I'm going to ask you to hold up your little hand for me to see, and you're going to either lift 1 through 5 fingers about how you're feeling right now. 1 finger being, I feel so chill I could fall asleep right at this very moment. And then 5 fingers being, the idea of being still feels like an awful idea. Like that sounds like torture to me. Okay, so you're holding up your hand and telling me, how many fingers do you have? Okay, thanks. I see you. Great. Okay. And McLean, I can't see you. I can see your face, but not your. Okay, cool. Thanks. Oh, thanks, Rebecca, for popping on to show me your fingers. Okay, thank you. I appreciate all this input. So now I'm not going to ask you to lay right the heck down because that would be uncomfortable. And if you want to go ahead and turn off your camera, you can. Okay, are we ready to get started? Does anybody have any questions about what we're going to do? Okay, cool. Alrighty, you're going to lay down on your back. And then once you get to your back, you're going to reach your legs up into the air and your arms up into the air. And this is a sharp introduction. This might be kind of uncomfortable, but just go with it for a moment. And shake your legs all around and keep shaking your arms and your legs, and maybe get your hips involved or your shoulders involved and your spine involved, and keep shaking. Really shaking. All the shakes, get the shakes out. And then stop. And let your arms and legs just kind of float in the air for a moment and feel the sensation in your limbs. Maybe feel supported by gravity and gently hugged in. And then bend at the knees and let your legs slide out long, and let your arms go down near the sides. And you can kind of wiggle through the pelvis again, getting a more comfortable position through the pelvis. And then reposition your head, maybe lifting your head up and placing it back down so that the lowest point possible of your skull is grounded. We're not going to stay in this lying out long position for very long, but if this is really uncomfortable for you right now, you can bend at the knees and plant the feet, or change positions completely so that you are comfortable. And now as you're lying here, begin to notice how you're feeling. And if that feeling has changed from the beginning of our time together to now. Noticing what you're thinking about. Perhaps noticing your heart rate and if it got elevated during that shaking. I know that mine did. And begin to notice how you're breathing. Describing your breath to yourself in as many words as you can use to describe it. Describing the location that your breath is in. And then finding the length of your breath, counting the inhale and then counting the exhale. noticing its length, and if there's any pause after inhale or after exhale. So all parts of your breath. How long are they without changing them at all? And the next time you exhale, turn your attention, direct your mind's attention to the soles of your feet. And feel the sensation at the soles of your feet and in your feet. And as you inhale, really overactivate, over effort through your feet. So grip with the toes or really flex or point the toes, as much activity as you can find in your feet. And see if you can just make it be in your feet and nowhere else. Notice what's happening with your mouth or your fists. Feet are on and active. And then exhale and release the effort in your feet. And then the next time you inhale again, inhale and activate through feet. And as you exhale, your breath-driven movement, exhale and release the effort. And do that a couple of times, inhaling to activate and exhaling to release. And really effort as you're activating. And try to release completely as you release. And then keep this going. So inhale to activate through your feet and then calf. And then exhale to release calves and feet. And then inhale to activate feet and calves and exhale to release and release completely. Inhale to activate feet, calves, and thighs. See if you can find activation that way, and then exhale to release from the top down. And keep going, continuing to direct your mind at what you're doing and how you're breathing along with the action. And then inhale to activate all the way to the glutes and really squeeze the glutes. And then exhale to release from glutes all the way back down to feet. Seeing if you can really sync up this activation and release in rhythm with your breath. So you're taking the whole time to activate and the whole time to release. From feet through whole leg now. And then add on the muscles in your pelvis and your pelvic floor. Squeezing everything you can think to squeeze, and then exhale to release. And then inhale up to the abdomen and activate the abdomen. And exhale to release from abdomen down. Like the low belly area. And then inhale to the rib cage and activate the rib cage and pull it down. And as you exhale from rib cage, belly, pelvis, glutes, thighs, calves, feet, relax completely. Inhaling now up to the shoulder. Same thing. Just adding on one region at a time. And exhaling to release. And then the next time you inhale from feet, add in the arms and the fists all at once. Gripping, squeezing, activating, and then releasing completely. Inhale from feet all the way up through your arms, and now involve your face. Can you activate your face and clench your jaw and make effort happen in your face? And then exhale to release and release completely. Hmm. Okay, inhale, whole body's activated, and this time keep it activated as you keep breathing. So, as much tension as you can muster. What's your back doing? What's your toes doing? Your kneecaps, your elbows? How are you activating? As much effort as you can muster here in this moment. And then as you exhale next, exhale all the way out. Completely exhale all the way out. And then relax the effort of the activation and relaxing. And again, notice how you feel. Notice what kind of sensations that you're feeling. And then return your mind to your breath and count the length of your inhale and count the length of your exhale. Okay, good job. We're going to set up for the resting period, so we won't be moving very much after this. Of course, you are welcome to. What we did just now is a really useful technique to use up your energy. The position that I'm going to suggest is what I'll call constructive rest. So feet are planted on the ground, and your feet, you'll walk them out wider than your hips and let your knees rest on one another. And then you would cover yourself with your blankie. If you feel like the sensation in the knees is uncomfortable, you could place the blanket gently in between the knees, or you could take a rolled up blanket or a foam roller and slide it underneath your knees or the cushion so that your knees are bent but supported by something other than each other. And again, you could position something underneath your head. And you're taking a lot of time to set yourself up well for rest. Like getting sockies on if you want them. And once you think you've arrived at your position, I want you to scan through yourself and notice if there's any part of you that feels uncomfortable. Any part of you that is in pain. And if there's anything that you can do about it in order to alleviate that discomfort, and then do so. Taking care of your own needs so that you're not meditating on pain or resting your attention on pain. And as time goes on, if you're feeling uncomfortable or a sensation of pain, I ask you to take care of your needs and try to alleviate that uncomfortable sensation. If laying on your back is just really uncomfortable for you, you could roll over onto your belly or move onto your bed even, taking whatever care that you can in order to find as much comfort as possible. Okay, you have arrived in your resting position. Bring your attention again to how you're breathing. The first step of breath development is not anything fancy or elaborate. The first step in being able to harness your own capacity for breath is finding a breath that's even and smooth. So we'll work towards that now. Again, count the length of your inhale and the length of your exhale. and begin to make them even and match. So if your inhale is 3 seconds, strive for a 3 second exhale, and so on, so that they're the same duration. And it's okay to make your breath shorter in order to make this evenness achievable. And then attune your attention to the texture of your breath. If it's kind of raggedy or feels like it's skipping or getting stuck somewhere. Use your attention now to smooth out your breath. Smoothing out the transition from inhale to exhale and exhale to inhale so they kind of blend right into one another. As you gain capacity for breath development here and gain capacity for kind control over your own breathing, you can begin to elongate your breath if it didn't happen already naturally. So, adding length to both the inhale and the exhale. As you're breathing here, even and smooth, where is your breath located? Where is its point of origin? Through your nose, through your mouth, a combination of both? How does your breath interact with your torso? Begin to travel with your breath as it enters and travels through your body, becomes transformed from air into breath, and then travel with your breath as it exits. Seeing if you can map in detail the path that your breath is going. Noticing if there's any darkness along the way, places where your mind skips over. Try to fill those in. The next step in our breath development together is location. So you've developed a smooth and even, perhaps long breath here. Now, the next time you inhale, see if you can travel with your breath all the way down to the lowest part of your belly possible. As you exhale, releasing your belly, releasing your exhale out completely. Inhale fills the belly again. You can place a hand on your own abdomen for support, or just envision through your inner sensing your belly moving up and down with your breath. Keeping hold of your smooth and even breath as you inhale and exhale completely in the low abdomen. The next time you inhale, send your breath to your ribs. Inhaling, inflating the low ribs, and exhale, the ribs deflate. Letting this be a 360-degree experience where you're inflating the front, sides, and back side of you all at the same time in the center of your abdomen at the rib cage. Gaining awareness of if this is possible for you or if you're unable to inflate one part of your center abdomen. The next time you inhale, inflate the chest and the shoulders and the upper back. Exhaling out completely in the region of the chest and shoulders. And keep going in this way, resensitizing yourself to your upper torso, filling the whole region with air and using that region to exhale out completely. The next time you inhale, reevaluate your physical situation, if you're still comfortable or if you need to readjust and take care of those needs. And then we'll combine those efforts, moving to a breath that's still even and smooth, but as you inhale, breathing in at the belly, and then side ribs, and then upper back and chest. And as you exhale, taking your breath from high to low again. So you'll inhale, low belly, side ribs, upper back and chest. Exhale from upper back and chest, down through the ribs to the low abdomen. And keep going in this way, finding a sense of fascination, letting this practice of smooth, even breathing through your whole torso be the most exciting self-remembering you've done today. Again, noticing if your breath wants to jump over or skip one area or stay in a different one. It's all allowed, but let yourself have gentle and consistent effort working towards this low to high breathing pattern. Again, you can use your hands as physical support by placing one on the belly and the other on the chest. And then the last breath development addition that we'll do is working towards an exhale that's longer than your inhale. So if your inhale is 2 seconds, make your exhale 4, and so on. Start by adding a little length at a time and then working towards an exhale that's longer than the inhale. Continue to invite your mind back to the sensation, length, and location of your own breathing. Counting the length of the inhale, counting the length of the exhale, mapping out its path from the place of origin through your body and then where it exits. Release your efforts. Let your breath return back to a natural breathing depth and location. And for a few moments, let yourself be breathed. Allow your breath to be easeful and natural. Notice how you feel. Notice how your body feels. Bring your attention to your eyes. Notice what your eyes are doing, if they're opened or closed. Letting them move if they're moving. Notice any light or colors behind your eyelids. And begin to gently let in light through your eyes if they're closed. Blinking them open to your surroundings and taking in your surroundings. Letting your journey from internal attention move outwards once more. And invite in some movement in your physical positioning, perhaps letting your knees rock side to side or your head say yes or no. Releasing any tension or even just giving yourself a little wiggle. 45 minutes of rest is a long time. Good job. Even if your brain was thinking about lots of things, that's fine. You still laid down, even for a moment. And I'm really excited about that for you. Okay, take care of your needs. Go to the bathroom, get some water, give yourself a little wiggle again. It's 6:45 right now, but I'll stay on if you want to say hi, but take your time. I'm in no rush. I would much rather you enjoy your coming out. So that was like very much what I would say is like if you're working on breath development, those were the stages that I would go through to establish your capacity. And then hopefully enter some sort of state of nervous system regulation. Okay. Thanks, guys. Bye bye. I'll see you later.